Yeah, write an app. We all need another fart app.
That's right. The world needs a new fart app.
That's right.
Welcome to AT Banter, the podcast where we discuss anything and everything regarding the world of assistive technology. With our hosts, Steve Barkley, Rob Minot, and Ryan Fleury. Now, let's banter.
Hey, and welcome to yet another episode of AT Banter. I am Rob Minot, and today I am joined by Ryan Fleury.
Hey.
And no Steve today because he is out on business.
So he says.
So he says. So we never know. He could be at any sort of a strip bar.
Or it could be in a ballroom at, Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, he'd be there. Could be doing some salsa dancing. We don't know. We don't know where he is.
That's right.
All we know is he's not here, which is fine. Just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
I knew you were going to do that.
You and I.
What are we doing today, Ryan?
Today we are talking with Nat Armeni, who is a contributor to a newsletter for the blind and visually impaired, called
Blind Perspectives.
Blind Perspective.
I read the show notes. I know these things.
Excellent.
And now, is he a contributor, or did he start up the newsletter?
No, he's a contributor.
Oh,
There's a segment in the newsletter called The Braille Highway that he contributes to.
I see. Well, that will be very interesting to talk to him and see how he got involved in that.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Now, we go back quite a ways with Nat.
Way back.
That's right. He used to bring us fresh pastries from the bakery.
Long time ago. His parents sold the bakery.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
That is sad.
Moved on. But yeah, we go way back.
Yeah, I remember him calling Aroga Technologies quite a bit. Because we sold him a host of equipment, didn't we?
Yeah, he's had Braille embossers and his JAWS SMAs and Braille lights, Plex Talk Pocket. So quite a few things.
So, how was your week?
My week was pretty quiet.
Was it?
Yeah, other than looking for guests for the show, it's been pretty quiet.
I have to say you've lined up some pretty spectacular guests. I'm very excited. In the next month or so, we've got some really great shows lined up.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too, and a lot of them you provided me links to, so glad you're looking because I'm missing some of them.
I'm working it.
It's good.
We should, let's just go ahead and plug this new podcast that you came across because it sounds really cool.
It is really cool. It's not the two. The podcast is called Two Disabled Dudes. Their website is twodisableddudes.com. And they're two guys who have a disability, a spinal cord injury. And they have this podcast where they talk about different topics such as community and the strength of community. They also have interviews as well with different people. And I've only listened to 2 episodes of their show, but so encouraging, open, honest, motivating, just really great guys. So if you have a chance, check out Kyle and Sean's podcast, twodisableddudes.com. It's well worth the listen.
And just to plug our show, we will be having them on in June, I believe, right?
Yep.
So keep your ears tuned for that.
It'll be good.
I'm excited. All right. Well, should we give the Natster a call?
Sure. Let's give Nat a call.
All right. Let's bring them on. Well, we today are talking to Nat Armeni, who is a contributor to a little thing called Blind Perspectives newsletter. Nat, how are you?
Doing well, thanks. How are you doing?
Well, we're good.
Fantastic.
Couldn't resist, could you?
I couldn't.
Well, Nat, tell us a little bit about the Blind Perspective newsletter and just what it is and how you got involved in it.
What the Blind Perspective newsletter is a bunch of blind people, regular blind people, that are writing about blind issues. And it started off 3 years ago in January. of 2015 was the first. So this is our third year, and it's an online publication as well as that we distribute it via an email group. It's so there's things like movers and shakers, which primarily deals with what the title is, people that move and shake the blind world.
Right.
And then there's somebody that writes about talking books, so books that are actually available for us to pick and read.
Right.
So they're currently
and then there's pardon me.
They're currently reviewing books that they've read and they recommend.
Yeah, she recommends books that are on NLS as well as Audible.
Oh, okay.
So other people can get it, not just Americans.
Right.
And which is pretty cool. And then there was a lady who does the kaleidoscope of crafts, and she does crafts, which is beautiful for blind people. You don't have to worry about, I can't do this, or they describe things visually as opposed to verbally.
Right.
And there's about 15 different authors, and everybody does their own thing.
So it's almost like an online magazine, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And are most of the columns like there's like a recurring monthly column that the same person contributes to?
There's about I believe 9 or 10 of us that do it every month, and then there's a couple of articles that are being rotated. So technically speaking, there's a gentleman who does computer tech stuff, and then there's another gentleman who does Apple, the iDevice.
Right.
So they rotate, and then we have a section called the rotating trio, and those three people rotate. They only write like 3 times a year or 4 times a year.
Right.
So they have one is iShare, which that guy speaks about how it is living without sight, and then there's a lady, Susie B. She does things around the house. So she'll do home remedies to clean things. Then she'll give a description on how to dismantle your garbage disposal. And then there's another guy who does just anything. Like he's just a grab bag.
Right.
He'll do like the abacus, how to play chess, just anything that tickles his fancy.
Right. Now, have you been involved with this from the very beginning?
Yes. The editor and I are friends, and her name's Karen, and we just one day we're talking, and we're both involved in different kind of magazines or newsletters, and we said, it would be nice to have a newsletter that was written by the blind for the blind, and not just copy and paste. It's actually articles
Right.
that people come up with, as opposed to finding something and saying, oh, this is a great thing that so-and-so wrote about, and just paste it in, and there you go. So these are all created by the individuals, and to boot, we're all volunteers. So that's a great thing as well. And it's on a global basis.
So are all the contributors sort of all around North America, or are they mainly located here in the Lower Mainland?
No, actually, as it stands currently, actually myself and Maxine are from Canada. Then we have a lady from South Africa, and then the rest are from America.
Wow, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, was it hard to find contributors, or did you guys have no problem finding people who were willing to contribute?
No, it's always difficult to find the one.
Right.
People are always willing to volunteer, and people are always giving suggestions. It's amazing how the power of writing and being in the newsletter. The people, like, for example, when we first started, we had one person doing the craft, and then we put out the word that we're needing somebody because she just didn't think she could keep up with it. And within a week and a half, we had 3 or 4 people
Right.
saying that they'd be willing to do it. So it was very nice.
So when are you going to get the Android corner? You've got a guy doing iDevices.
Oh, there you go, Ryan.
I think that was volunteered.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. We can have the, technically speaking, into a trio where you guys can rotate three-way.
Well, either that, or maybe they need like a Netflix corner where you
Yep.
could review different
Audio described
described
programming.
Netflix shows.
That's good too. Yeah,
See?
like DVS. Yeah,
Yep.
scripted video service. Yeah.
There you go, Ryan. You
Mm.
find your niche.
Yeah.
There you go.
He'll contact you after the show then, Nat. I think he's up for it.
There you go. Thank you.
That's right.
Okay, well, let's...
Always looking for new recruits.
Well, how many people are on the team at the moment?
There's 14 writers, authors, and like I said, about nine of us, 10 of us write every week, and then there's the few there that I mentioned that two of them are like they rotate bi-monthly,
Right.
and then the other one are every 3 months.
And so, where do most of the people get their stories from? Is it just from off the top of their heads, or are they looking online for news stories or ideas, or is it from suggestions from the audience?
I can only speak for myself. I write about things that either because I write a column as well called the Braille Highway, so it's basically everything to do with Braille, and so I've covered things like the slate and stylus to the different types of Braille writers, Perkins and Braille displays and those kind of things. And then, for example, I was looking at my different alternative billing that I get in Braille, and the way some of them will write, you can tell that they just have a program, like a Duxbury or some other kind of translation program, and they just run it through. They don't really care about the style or how it's set up.
Right.
And they just they do it, and boom, they put it out and they staple it and mail it out. And then other ones, you can tell that it's actually done by a Braille company or a blind individual because it's formatted beautifully.
Right.
And so I saw that, and that just sparked a thing in my head, and I wrote a piece about it, and I got so many emails and feedback. It blew me away. And then now for May, I wrote about different currency around the world on how they provide for blind people to be able to identify what the currency is.
Cool.
So it's just whatever pops in my head. And then other people, of course, are more, I guess, their subjects are way more narrow, right? So mine is way broad, anything to do with Braille. But we also have a guy who writes about financial. So that's pretty neat as well, about savings and investments and that kind of stuff. And so that's pretty neat. And we also have a guy that does fitness, and so he's also blind, and he I believe he has massage therapy and physiotherapy degrees. And so being a blind person, you can actually also understand how to describe things as opposed to somebody sighted thinking being blind,
Right.
as opposed to experiencing it. So that's the beauty, where everything is catered to the blind.
Right.
And I think it's a pretty neat concept, and it seems to be working.
Now, are all the contributors all like visually impaired?
Yeah, blind or visually impaired. I think the majority of us are blind, totally blind.
Right. And then, I imagine that's, again, that's to your advantage because, you have blind people writing for blind people.
When you're involved, well, I know I can only speak for myself, but when I've been involved in book clubs with sighted peers,
Right.
They'll get a book, and I gotta wait. Okay, it's way quicker than it used to be, but I gotta wait to get that book.
Yeah.
So I was always at a disadvantage. But now with Carla Joe's column, whatever she writes, boom, you can go get it, and it's really nice, it's refreshing.
Yeah.
And the same thing, like I say, with people that write about, for example, the crafts. Everything she does, she's blind and she does it. And Lindsay's great, and people, that's one of, it's a very popular column as well.
And now, how often does a new edition come out?
Every month. At the end, it's usually, like for example, now May, it'll either come out on this Sunday or late Sunday night, early Monday morning. So for the first of the month. And it gets circulated, like I said, as in a email group,
Okay.
as well as the website gets updated as well.
And how many subscribers do you currently have?
We're approaching to email people, email subscribers 800.
Nice.
And then, we have over Well, we have just about the same, between 700 and 800 that visit the site as well.
Now, to your knowledge, are there any other publications like yours?
Well, we're neat. There is other publications out there. For example, NFB and ACB.
Right.
They both have their own publication, but that's all geared for their
Right.
stuff, right? We're
Sure.
nonpartisan,
Right.
so we're neutral, and which is a beauty because people don't want to be fed, political stuff.
Sure.
And with ours, it's all just personal opinions, and we're also always open for suggestions, and and if somebody disagrees with what I write, hey, write me. That's what we all have our emails for that.
Right.
And we always encourage feedback.
Well, and I mean that's the advantage too, because it's a community-based newsletter for the community, as opposed to a newsletter that's geared towards
Pushed out by an organization.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
So you guys can talk about anything, and you don't have to sort of attach any loyalties to any given article.
That's right.
Now, do you guys take any sort of user submissions? Like, have you ever got any feedback or got an article from a subscriber and run with it?
Yes. We've the editor Karen, she's received a couple of things from people that have written about, like this. For example, a couple of months ago, this one lady named Jackie wrote in about her. She was going to have a sister, I believe, moving in with her, and her sister was totally blind.
Right.
And she wanted to just put it out there how to make your house blind friendly. And it was pretty neat to read from a sighted person's point of view and from a loved one as opposed to a stranger.
Right.
And that was neat. And then there was another lady as well. That was a little while back, so I don't remember. I think it was like a year ago. But Karen's very open to that as well. As long as it's done right and there's no agenda written behind it. She's pretty open to those kind of things. We also have a beautiful segment called the International Perspective.
Right.
And that is all about how life in your country is as a blind person.
Right.
And it's amazing. We've had India, we've had China, Spain, so all these different wonderful countries. And it's amazing to read, how fortunate and lucky we are here in Canada and the U.S.
Right.
Of all the stuff we have, where they're not really at the same level as us on a lot of things, and some other things they're advanced. So everybody has room to grow and to improve. But yeah, it's really neat. And that segment there, people usually either write it, but if they're not confident in writing it, our editor Karen will have a Skype meeting or conference, whatever, and they'll talk and she'll take notes and ask questions, and then she writes the article on their behalf.
Right.
And asking all the key questions, about Braille's availability or other things in their, how it is living in their country, being blind, transit, accessibility.
Right.
All the issues.
Yeah, I just recently heard, I think South Korea or somewhere in Asia is going to include or has included Braille on passports.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta look into that. That would be neat. But what would be the purpose of that, though?
Well, there's a serial number or an identification number on your passport, and that's in print. And
Right.
sometimes you're required to provide that on online forms and stuff. And as a blind person, you can't read that, right?
Oh, okay. I learned something new today. Wow. Okay.
Woohoo!
Yeah, that would be neat.
I just wish they could do something about my passport picture. Every time I have to renew my passport and get new pictures, I always look like a serial killer.
They want you to,
I
though.
don't know.
They want you to. That's why they tell you don't smile.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but well, not that smiling does me any favors either, but I mean, at least I wouldn't look like a serial killer.
Well, you're
Whatever,
good for
I don't
10
know.
years now, right?
Yeah,
So
I know. And believe me, I'm not happy about it. But,
we just ours too.
Well, in your defense, Rob, they say not to smile because it squints your eyes and it changes your appearance.
Yeah.
What?
That's the excuse they gave me.
And for me, it's easy because I don't smile at all.
yeah,
so.
that's right. You're Grumpy Bear.
That's right.
That needs to be your new Twitter handle.
Grumpy Bear.
I had a follow-up question. Just give me a sec. Where's my pen?
Right behind the keyboard.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Well,
Okay, never
while
mind.
you're thinking, Rob, I'll mention also we have a classified section as well, and that's where people for $5 you would write what you want to sell, and we put it up on the classified page on the site, and it's there for 30 days. And we also have another segment called sponsor for the month, so that's $15, and you get a piece in the newsletter right at the beginning, advertising your service or your product,
Right.
and then you also get put on the classified page for a month as well.
And that's
$15.
$15 a month.
Oh, we need to get Steve in on that.
I'm gonna do it for AT Banter.
Okay, you got some business here, buddy.
Oh, right, there you go.
Yeah,
Sounds cool.
I'll be the sponsor for June.
Sweet.
Right on. Hey, and we have this recorded, Ryan.
Absolutely.
We have proof now.
Yep.
That's right. So, what are the plans for the future for the newsletter? You guys got anything? Any big plans? I mean,
Well, there's several things in the on the burner, on the back burner. You know, we're looking at maybe getting an audio, because right now the newsletter only comes in print, and so we're looking at maybe having it read.
Yeah.
And then Karen and I are always looking for new segments, like Ryan's wonderful suggestion about the Android.
right.
So stuff like that. We're always open to that. We're always keeping in mind also keeping things to a minimal, because you don't want to make it too big.
Sure.
But at the same time, that's why it's good to rotate sometimes. A month on and off, and whatever
Sure.
it may be. So, yeah.
You should do a podcast.
Well, I have to talk to you about that because you're the podcast guru.
Am I the
So-
podcast guru? How did that happen?
That should
Really?
be, that should be
Okay.
that should be your Twitter
I'm down
handle.
with that.
Podcast Guru.
I'd be okay
Among
with
your
that.
other talents as well.
That's
Rob. I'm
right.
sure you have too many to list here.
That's right. You should see me pole dance.
Well, thank God I'm blind. I don't think I want to see that.
What else we got here? So now you mainly write about Braille.
Yes.
Has there ever been a month where you wanted to dive into one of the other columns? Like, have you ever, sort of switched it up and edited or authored one of the other columns?
I haven't, no. But, I'm sure if I had an idea, I could, I'm sure the other authors would be more than happy to get a suggestion, because sometimes you do get a brain freeze.
Right.
And, so
Do-
I know
do-
that many times Karen and other authors have suggested things for me to write about, and it was great because then, you just do a little bit of research and you get some information for a new article.
Now, did some of the columnists sort of bounce ideas off each other? Like, do you guys hold like sort of writing meetings, or are you always aware of what somebody else is going to be covering for that month?
No, we've had brainstorming sessions over Skype, and we're trying to do more of that. But everybody, especially with the different time zones and
Sure.
People being busy and stuff, we're trying to do more of that. But we haven't started the schedule of that as of yet. But I think that's something that Karen is wanting to do for sure. But for example, I've written about Braille displays, and then a lady by the name of Cheryl Spencer, she does a segment called Spencer's Spotlight, and she'll just pick any product and review it.
Right.
And so she was at a convention where there was showing the Braille Orbit 20
Right.
Braille display, and so she saw it and she wrote about it. So it's not, you can't, there's no rules. You're not allowed to write about Braille, it's only Nat, or you're
Right.
not allowed to write about Apple devices because that's Darren's. So I think if it happened on a regular basis, maybe Karen would put a stop to it. But if you come across something and it's within your domain, I guess you're able to write about it.
So that's pretty cool. I mean, again, it sounds like it's very much community driven.
Yes, yeah. Karen, she runs a tight ship, but at the same time, she gives us a lot of leeway to do what we want and write what we want about.
And for those who don't know, you're blind yourself too, right, Nat?
Yes.
Yeah. So Braille's been a passion of yours for a long time.
Yeah, I've let's see here. I've been blind for close to 40 years, and I've known Braille for about 35 of those years.
So you've seen a lot of changes in technology over those period.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Like learning on the Perkins Brailler,
Right.
and then learning the slate, and the displays, like the different Braille note takers and that kind of stuff. It's just blown me away.
And we can hear an embosser in the background.
Yeah, that's in the next room. Sorry about that.
Oh,
That's
no, it's
fine.
okay. It's okay. Well, being that you've been involved with Braille for so long, maybe it'd be interesting to get your take on Braille literacy, because it's a bit of a hot topic right now, especially with all the technology allowing for text-to-speech technology and stuff. There's less and less emphasis on Braille literacy these days, and it's a bit of an uphill battle trying to highlight the importance of Braille. What's your take on it?
I think when you read in the traditional sense, that's reading. So Braille is the only way that you can read in the traditional way of reading. When we listen to an audio book, okay, you're listening to the book, but you're not seeing the sentence structure. You're not seeing the spelling. I think that I think Braille will survive, and I also think that people that really want to learn, because people use this because, oh, I'm too old or whatever to learn Braille.
Right.
But yeah, you might be too old to learn contracted Braille, but you're not too old to learn, the first level. And I think it's important, and I think it's really a wonderful tool for independence, because if I'm looking for a CD, I have all my CDs labeled. It'd be a pain in the butt to have to go with your Braille pen to read the label of what it is. And then if the batteries run out or die or whatever, then you gotta change them. You might not have batteries handy. So Braille is great. And then also, as many of us have experienced, when the power goes out, what are you gonna do?
Right.
Unless your Victor Stream or your other player is already charged up, you're gonna be OTL. And I'm a big Braille supporter and enthusiast by a long shot.
Well, and it seems to me too that, Braille, it's sort of the foundation. You if you can't read Braille, you can't even go to, say, like, a building that has their signage brailled.
Exactly.
You're not going to be able to read it. You're not going to be able to find the washroom.
Even an elevator. Yeah.
That's right.
So, but then people always say, someone else can help me, or my spouse can help me, or whatever. So the thing is with that, it opens up so many doors, and I think it's a great tool.
Yeah, it sounds like, screen readers and, text to speech and all that type of technology is great, I think, as a backup, or, to use in conjunction with it. But I know we agree with you 100% on that, Braille, you got to have that Braille foundation.
Yeah, true literacy is being able to read. Listening to an audiobook or listening to a text isn't literacy. Being able to spell, to see the punctuation, to know, sentence structure. You can't do that with text-to-speech as quickly and easily as you can with a Braille display.
Exactly.
So go Braille.
Yeah.
Yeah, Louis.
That's right.
And Braille's getting more and more affordable all the time, so...
Yeah, so that excuse is going out the door as well. Right?
Yeah, it'll become.
And then with these Braille book, like electronic books, then they won't use the excuse that Harry Potter is 8 volumes. Well, it might be 8 volumes if you want the hard copy, but if you want an electronic copy, it's just going to be be able to put it on your flash drive.
Yep.
Well, since I have this moment, if people want to write, if they are interested in doing the an international perspective, or if they have an article, info@theblindperspective.com is the way to get a hold of us. Or if they want to write to either one of us individually, Karen, the editor, or myself for the Braille Highway, or any of the other authors. We have a contact page, and everybody's email is there, and easily accessible.
What is the website address?
www.theblindperspective.com.
So tell us, how would people get a hold of you if they wanted to actually submit an article, Nat?
To submit an article, they can write to us individually if they want to do that, or they can write to the admin, and that's info@theblindperspective.com. So info at theblindperspective.com, all written out.
And generally, the website is usually the best way that people can find the older editions.
Yes, we have a previous issue page, and there's everything that we've ever published. So
Wow. Okay.
2015, 2016, and current 2017, and it's all there. And it's very blind friendly, the website, because it's all with headings. So you just push that H, and it'll take you to the next heading, very nicely laid out.
And when's the next issue due out?
This weekend, so Sunday, either Sunday evening or Monday morning.
See, so there you go.
It'll be
So this will be posted Friday. So there, everybody, you've got 2 days.
Not Friday.
No, but we'll be posted Friday. So.
Oh, okay.
So people will be hearing this on Friday. Run out, go get your subscription so you can get the newest issue hot off the presses. This just in.
And to subscribe to the newsletter, to be able to get the email without right in your inbox, is the Blind Perspective, then the plus sign, subscribe at groups groups.io. And then once you do that, then you'll get an email pretty quickly back asking you if you're sure you want to be a member of the Blind Perspective. And then you just use your email program to reply, and blank email back, boom, and then you'll get the newsletter the next time it comes out. And it's only used for that purpose, for the newsletter. We don't do any advertising or any other kind of stuff. You only get one email a month, and that's it.
Perfect. All right, Nat. Well, thanks so much for coming on and talking about Blind Perspectives with us.
Thank you, guys, and I appreciate it.
All right. Take care, buddy.
Thank you.
Well, that was cool.
Yeah, it was good to get him on and talk about the newsletter.
It's a great idea, actually. More of the community should really be doing things like that. And especially, it's nice that it's a community-based newsletter where, they take in user submissions. It sounds like the contributors can really write about whatever they want.
Well, and it's nice that there's no agenda. It's nice that, Freedom Scientific, AFB, NFB,
Right.
They have their own newsletters for their members. And people can join as well. But this, is nonpartisan, right? This is just a bunch of people sharing and contributing to the community. So, yeah, it's definitely worth checking out.
Very cool. Well, we will, of course, have all the information as to where you can find them online at our show notes.
In our show notes.
What did I say?
At our show notes.
And
Ryan's a dick.
Ryan said, all right, well, then let's pack it in for the day.
Alrighty.
Where can people find us?
People can find us at www.atbanter.com.
They can also email us if they would so desire at
atbanterpodcast@gmail.com.
That is correct, sir. You can also find us on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram.
Woohoo! Have you been posting much to Instagram?
Don't ask.
Yeah, we're going to
Don't
get rid of
ask and I would do it.
Instagram.
No, we're not. I'm doing it. Shut up.
Goodbye, Instagram.
Listen.
You're just like Google Plus.
I'm telling you, well, no, it's not like Google Plus. It's actually a very popular platform. It's just
I know it is. I know.
We're not a hot chick.
Exactly.
We have nothing to post.
I know.
Nobody wants to see our duck faces.
Exactly. That's why I'm really not sure why we jumped in.
Well, listen, it's all part of our social network marketing. All right. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for listening, everybody, and we will see you next week.
This podcast has been brought to you by Canadian Assistive Technology, providing low vision and blindness solutions across Canada. Find us online at www.canasstech.com. That's CANASSTECH.com, or call us toll free at 1-844-795-8324. For all your assistive technology servicing needs, call Chaos Technical Services at 778-847-6840 or find them online at chaostechnicalservices.com. Music provided by bensound.com.